Hi, I am Dhiren Shah. I am one of the founding member and content helper of Edu-Mark India.
Hi friends, I am Kompal Shah. I am working in Edu-Mark India as a chief accountant and legal advisor.
Myself Tanvi Shah. I am a content developer and instructor of Edu-Mark India.
Myself Forum Kritya and I am Python instructor in Edu-Mark India.
Hi, I am Keval Shah, one of the first founding member of Edu-Mark India.
My name is Hedvejani and I am instructor at Edu-Mark Institute for Ethical Hacking course.
Best part of Edu-Mark India is what I am loving. The fast growing organization with multiple places of presence across the globe.
Best part which I love of Edu-Mark India is that it is helping the nation to get literate along
Love
with
about
skills.
Edu-Mark is to encouraging people and making people to develop their skills in various ways.
The Edu-Mark Institute takes an effort to provide the knowledge and share the valuable resources through their medium.
For me, Edu-Mark is something very special because it's a unique platform for all the skillers. We have seen that there is a need to encourage the people who have their skills in our nation. And so from here, we derived our motto that is making nation skilled.
Which makes people more advanced and competitive. This is one of the only private organization to come with this motto to get nation skill.
Edu-Mark India motto making nation skilled and having a great contribution in the field of education as well as to the nation was the main reason why I joined the Edu-Mark team. So I personally thank you Edu-Mark for giving me such a great opportunity.
The best thing I like is Edu-Mark motto, which is making national skill. It helps students to improve their knowledge in various fields and they can learn it whenever they want. I am happy that I am learning also and teaching in Edu-Mark.
Our motto is about making nation skilled for every individual to upgrade and buckle up their skills in whichever field they want.
We have the team of most passionate and young people. We will strive to be one of the most important reliable organization for people get access to next level education. We providing education from basic scratch the level. We are feeling so proud that we building this platform to serve or contribute nation.
For learning and for teaching and for sharing my own experience with others. So thank you Edu-Mark.
And I will try to give my best. Thank you for your support and it motivates me a lot. Thank you Edu-Mark.
We start in India. Only then it got present in 140 plus country. But now it is serving hug and vast in 170 plus countries. We have young team and expert in their field. I hope this organization get more close to you, you make you more skilled and ready for future.
Hello. So as you must have seen the video, that was the one of the phases of our Edu-Mark department teams. Okay, so these were the people who have taken a lot of efforts to create this Edu-Mark team, and also these are the guys. Okay, so these are the person who are the main phases of the organization, right? So you must have seen the founders, you must have seen the each and every people in that, whoever are the important peoples, like from the instructor department, the content developer, the advisors and all. So these are the people who have taken a lot of efforts to establish this thing for you, right? So before we waste any of our time, so let us start with the content. That is nothing else, but we are going to start out with our course to continue with the next part of Python development. So I'll just start up the Python idle and all. Just a second. Okay. So now we are going to start with the concept where we left from. Okay, that is nothing else but the Python development. We have seen what are the variables, we have seen what are the data types and all, right? Even what are the differences between the Java language and the Python language as well. So now what we are going to do is we are going to code out some small projects, some mathematical projects to understand the operators, how these operators work, what are the differences between them operators. Okay, and also we'll be also try to understand how does the dictionary work as well. So let us start with the very basic programming, that is prime numbers. Okay, so as we know the concept, the prime numbers are the numbers which are basically beginning from ones and zeros. Okay, just a second. Yeah, okay, so basically the prime numbers are the numbers which are like evaluated with the help of 1, 0, or else with its own self. Okay, so now what happens, for example, if we say any number multiplied by 0, so obviously you know it's going to be the 0, so it does not it's not valid. Okay, if I multiply any number by 1, so I'm going to get the value as the same as the number. And if I multiply any number or divide any number, okay, with the own number, okay, then I will get the result as 1. So that does not make any sense. So we know the concept of the prime numbers, the numbers which are only divisible by 1 or itself. Okay, so that's what we're going to build today. Okay, and we will also start building one small sweet game, as I said in the previous session as well. We're going to create a rock, paper and scissor game. Already the video has been mentioned, but that was not with much more explanation. So now we are coming up with the same concept. Okay, so as you can see, I have opened the Python idle, so I'll just customize my Python idle so I can enjoy it using highlights, dark theme. I take this, apply. Okay, font tabs, I'll just increase the font for you so you can easily see the results and apply. Okay, so now to work with the concept of prime numbers, we require a few elements, and we'll see and go through the same concepts. Okay, so the first thing we will do, we will create a separate Python file. So I'll say new file. So this will open a text edit for my Python development. So first of all, we will save it. So I will go to file and I will click on save as. I'll save it on my desktop itself so I can easily access it, and I will name it as prime number. So I'll just name it as prime. Now the basic fundamental which we have to study is what exactly the prime number will function as. So the first thing we are going to do is, I will be saying, or we will start saying, is that we'll create a variable. So I will say num equals to int input, and this is gonna be my enter the number. Okay,
So now when I'm saying enter the number, right? So I will be entering these numbers over here. Okay. So I'm saying the user to enter his or her number directly, right? So now what we are going to do is, now we are going to say to the user that to enter his or her number. So now as soon as the user enters his or her number, okay, so we will be easily able to take their values from them and will be easily able to modify them as per the requirement. Okay, so now I'll press enter. Now to determine whether the number is prime or not, we have to go through a lot of algorithms. Like so what we do is that if you determine whether the number is prime or not, you have to run the loops, you have to determine, you need a check post in the between and all. So this is the concept which we are going to work on. So what we are going to do is we will be creating a checkpoint over here. So I will say over here that flag equals to true. Okay, so now when I say that flag equals to true, this means that my particular number is a prime number. Okay, so now this particular flag will help me to determine whether my number is prime or not, right? The next step what we are going to do is we will be creating a loop. Okay, this loop is nothing else but our for loop. Now what is a loop? As we've discussed in the previous session as well, loop is something which helps you to keep generating the code or keep executing the code or iterate the code again and again, right? So what happens in that case, we give a condition that till what times it will be keep iterating the stuff and how many times. So I will be saying that for I in range, okay, and I'll open the parentheses, and in this parentheses I will be mentioning 2 comma num. Okay, now why am I doing this thing? What will happen if I do like this way? So what happens basically, I am saying that I want a particular number which starts from 2 and it continues till its nth number. Nth number in the sense num minus 1 will happen in this case. So now if I say that if my particular number, okay, is divisible again and again. So what's the basic logic we are putting over here? That I take a number. For example, I take number as 14, okay, and this particular 14th number, what it will do, it will say that num equals to 14. Okay, so my variable num has the value as 14. Then I say that flag equals to true, right? Currently I am not determining the any condition, so I'm saying that it might be an integer, like it might be its integer, but it might be also be a prime number as well. So what I'm saying flag to be true, right? The next thing what I'm going to do is I'm saying that for I in range 2 comma num. Now there is a very simple logic behind this, that why am I taking number 2 as the initial state? The reason is that, as we know, the prime number is only divisible by 1 or else by its own number. Okay, so having 1 in this case does not make any sense, because whatever the stuff you all follow, okay, whatever the steps you are going to follow in this, it's gonna consider as a prime number. So we are starting it with number 2, okay, and the second parameter which you are taking is num. So when I take the number as num, okay, so what happens in that case, it basically say that this number will execute till its nth value, nth minus 1 value. For example, if I'm taking 14, so it will start from 2, but it will end at on an average 13, right? Nth minus 1, so it will end at 13. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say in this, if, okay, my num percentage I equals to 0, okay, if my number is being divisible by I, okay, that means if my num percentage I, that means if I divide my number with I. Now obviously my I keeps repeating, my I keeps changing from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till n minus 1 value, okay, and by fluke any of this number tends to be divisibility ratio for 0. But whenever we consider the number is 0, if their divisibility value, if their remainder remains 0. For example, if I take 4 divided by 2, so we know that 2 into 2 is 4, so we know that the divisibility is 0, like the remainder is going to be the 0. and divisibility is going to be 2, right? So if I take any number and I say that this particular number will be divisible by that particular number or not, so to determine that, we always say that it will be divided by 0. So once I say that it is divided by 0, right, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare that my flag is false. Okay, my bad, so I'll say false, right? And in this, now I will be saying, okay, nearly that break statement. Okay, so I'll come out of this thing, right? Now I will come out of the for loop as well. Okay, now as I said that it is not acting as a JavaScript language or a Java language which will have the parentheses and all, but some or the other way it is going to have the colons which works on. So Python being an interpreter, it is one kind of language which is acting as on indentation method. I'm so sorry, it is acting as an indentation method. Okay, so when I say that this particular language is acting as an indentation method, right, so this means that this particular stuff or this particular language will be working in the same way, right? So if I come out of the indentation, right, then it is not an indentation line. Okay, but if I'm inside the indentation, then, like for example, if I'm indented inside, then it is an indentation, right? So when I say that if the num divided by 1, okay, equals to 0, my flag will become false and it will break the if condition and the loop. It will come out of the loop. So coming out of the loop, I'm not using any kind of curly brackets or something. I'm just using over here the indentation method. So I'm coming out of this. So now if I say over here that if my if my flag equals to true, okay, then it will be saying that my particular number or my particular value, okay, that my particular stuff, that is my flag, okay, my prime number, it's not my prime number. So I'll just say over here that print that number is not prime. Okay, else it will say, I'll just copy paste the code, sorry, so I'll just say over here copied, pasted, sorry, this is, if it's true then it's a prime, if it's not true it's not prime, right? So now I will say it over here and I will try to execute the program. Okay, so I will now say run script, run the module, right? Once I say run the module, okay, it starts running the module, right? So as you can see over here that the script has started running. Okay, so now as you can see, it says it's asking me for entering a number, right? Because I have basically said over here that to ask me for enter the number, right? So now if I enter the number as 12, okay, it says that number is not prime. Okay, but again if I go to the program and I refresh it, okay, and I restart the program, it say me that number is obviously a prime number. So I will be entering the number called as any random number as 13. Okay, it says that number is prime, right? So this is the basic concept behind the programming, that how my prime number is getting determined. Okay, so what you have learned in this particular program, that how you can take integer only as an input. For example, if I run this program, okay, and I enter my name, that is Kevin, and I press enter, so it say me that this particular stuff is not an integer. It says that invalid literal for int, that it's not an integer. So this means that the value given, that's a cable, is a string, so it's not an integer. So if I enter, if I go again and I refresh it, okay, if I say to run again, right, and if I enter over here that is 12.3, again it's giving me an error because I am adding a decimal value, so it is not a integer. But again if I go over here and I press this thing, Now even if I say something value like as 198465997, okay, so it takes some time to determine whether the number is valid or not, right? But it says that keyboard interrupted, okay, that means this value is not having any case scenario. So if I enter the number as 1009, I execute it, okay, it says that this number is prime. So you must have seen that 1000 numbers are being determined within the fraction of second. Now this speed may depend upon your processor or RAM speed. So it's okay if it's taking more time. For example, in this case it was taking a lot of time, so it gave me the error, it's a keyboard interrupt, so it's okay, right? So if I try to execute this again, okay, obviously this is going to give me not one kind of error, but it will take a lot of time just to execute. Let's see. So still you can see it's not giving me any kind of result. It's still inside the stuff, and the number is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 digit, okay, it's an 8-digit number, and now it's giving me the result that number is prime, right? So my program is working quite well enough and efficient, okay. So this was the concept of a prime number. So now let us see exactly what is it's working on. So what happens over here when I say that I in range 2 comma n, this means that this I value is getting changed to the number. For example, when I say that first value is my 2, it comes over here, it says that now divided by 2. If I enter the value as 14, yes, it says it's divisible by 2, so the value will become again 0, so it will say false, break the loop, and it will say that if this is the case, it's not a prime number. And same vice versa goes for the prime numbers, okay. So now what we are going to do in this, now we will start evaluating more in detail, okay. So now what we are going to do is, we will be saying that to understand this thing, let's start with a game rather than, that's a rock paper scissors game. So I'll open a new file, okay, and I will take some input from the user. So what I am going to do is, I will be saying over here that input is a variable, so I'll just say IP equals to input from a user. So I'll be just saying over here quotes, and I will be mentioning something like stuff that is kindly enter from rock comma paper comma scissor, okay, and I will press enter. Once I say that to enter rock, paper or scissor, I expect that the user might enter rock, might enter paper, might enter the scissor, okay. So now what I'm going to do is, now I will start with the basic building of this, okay. So my basic building will determine upon how I am using this particular object. That is, for example, if the user gives the input, okay, so how it's determining the input, how the concept works upon that. So when I say that user says like this way, so we also need to create a smart computer. So what we are going to do, we are going to say over here a list, okay, that's a list. So in that list I will be saying, that is just a second, so I will be saying options, okay, let me name it as options equals to square bracket. In this, now I will say rock comma double quotes paper. Make sure to write these things as lowercase rather than capital letters or uppercase. I will say scissors, okay. I'll also do the same things over here, so I will say scissors to the user. Oh, again I made a mistake, let's make it as scissors, okay. So now what's the next part we are going to do is, I'll just press enter, I'll try to segregate it, okay. Now the next part I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a particular concept that will be helping us to evaluate the stuff. That is, for example, I'll just show you. I'll just say computer choice equals to whatever my list name is. So I'm gonna list name as options square bracket number. Okay, so when I say that option square bracket number, what happens in this case, this will start determining the number, what can be a random number be, right? So I'll come over here and I will basically say what is the number. Number is nothing else but something which is going to be my math dot random. Okay, and it's going to be from 0 to 3, right? I think this should work because I'm a little bit confused in the JavaScript stuff as well. So I'll just say it as RS and save it. Okay, so it asks me, so I'll say rock. Okay, math.random is not different. Oh wait, I have to import the library called as math. So I will say import math. Then this might work. Math is not defined. Okay, so I'll remove this. So let me say something like options dot random. This might work. Save. Drop. Okay, there is no such attribute called as random. So I'll now say math dot random again. I will say options and I will save this particular program. Let's see whether it works or not. Okay, it's not working. Wait just a second. Here it is math random Python. Okay, so now in this I will say that how to get the random numbers in the Python. So it will show us on this slide. So it says that import random, not math. I have to import the random. From this I can say that random choice can be out of this anything. So what we are going to do, I'll just go over here and instead of math I will import random, right? And over here I will say random dot choice options. Okay, once I say that random dot choice options, okay, let's see, this might work. So now I'll be saying I'll remove this thing. I'll just make it as number itself, right? And I say over here that print computer choice and I execute the program. Okay, once I do this, now I'll say rock. It says the random value is rock. When I go over here and I say something as scissors, it says me rock again, right? So it is ready to accept the any random input from the user. So now in this I'll say I'll just remove this print statement. So basic stuff is clear that what this computer choice is storing and how is it working. So now what we are going to do is now we're going to use the logical operator in this. Okay, and we are going to join two different conditions at one instance. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the first thing I'm going to say is if my IP equals to rock, okay, and rock being a string, I will just write like this way. So if it's a rock, and I will say that end computer choice equals to to win. See, there are basically on an average 3 conditions for each options: one winning, one losing, and one draw conditions. So on an average, what we are going to do, it makes almost 9 conditions, right? So we are going to cut short this condition and we're going to make only 6 or 7 conditions. So 3 winning, 3 losing, and 1 draw condition. So over here I'm giving the first winning condition. If it's a raw, so it is against, it can win again the scissors, right? And it will come over here and it will say that print that you, okay, so I forgot to give this double quotes because it's a string, so I'll say you win. Okay, else if I say, and else if, I'll be able to mention that I'll just copy this particular condition and I paste it at the bottom. I say that if it is something like paper, so over here I will be mentioning it as raw because we know that paper wins against the raw. So now in this I will be saying that print double quotes you, oh, I made a mistake, you win, right? But again, if I say that else if can I give the condition and I say that now I want to create the winning condition for my next part, that is my paper scissors. Okay, so my winning condition now will be in this case paper. Okay, so now I'll just scroll up and I'll take this element and I scroll down and I paste it. Okay, so now I'll say over here paste it. Okay, now if these things are happening, then it's a winning condition. But if I say that else if IP equals to computer choice, okay, then it's gonna be my draw state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say over here that print lucky enough it is a draw, right? And I'll press enter and I've come out of this. Okay, now I will start giving the losing conditions. So how I can give the losing conditions, I will just take one part from here. Okay, I'll copy it, I will replicate it over here and I paste it. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to say over here computer choice, and this is going to be my IP, right? And I'll be mentioning over here that you lose. Okay, right? So now I'm going to be a little bit expressive, so I'm going to say as you lose. Okay, and I'll just copy this part again and replicate it at the bottom, right? So now I'll give the next condition, that is on an average that if my this is rock and this is my scissors, okay, then again it will say that it loses, right? Else again what it will do, it will say that scissors, and if my wait, this is gonna be my rock paper and I want over here as scissors and I want a winning condition, so losing, so I will be saying over here paper. Okay, now what I will do, I will just come out of these loops, okay, and I'll try to execute the program, right? So it says invalid syntax. Oh, so basically we don't have any concept called as else if, we have the concept called as elif, else if, right? And I will be mentioning over here something like elif, right? So now when I'm mentioning elif, I'll just replace it, right? Replace, find all, and displace. That's done. Now I'll try to execute. Okay, so I will answer my first choice as rock. It says that you win. Now what happens basically, we are not aware that what computer is choosing, right? So to make that security, like not exactly the security, to have that easy benefit of that, so what we are going to do is we are going to add the same facility over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm saying number choice like this way, and I will say print statement. Okay, and we are going to be a little bit smart enough, so we'll be printing proper statement. So I will say that your choice is, give a space, comma, in this now I will be saying IP, again a comma, so double quotes, again a comma, and I will say computer choice, right? And in this I'll be mentioning, sorry, user, not user, but our device chooses computer choice. Now what I will be doing, I will come to the next line and I will now say that print check the results are out, right? So now I will run the script. As soon as I run the script, I'll get an idea that whether am I choosing right or wrong. Okay, so for example, now since starting I'm entering rock. Let me enter now scissors. Okay, so it says that your choice is scissors and device choice is rock. Let's check the result, and it says that you are out. Okay, now again if I go over here and I say that rock, results are out, so that bot chooses scissors and I choose rock, so now I am the winner. Now this is happening for limited amount of time. This is not happening again and again. So what we are going to do, we are going to set up a condition over here that if the user say that he or she wants to continue, then only this thing will carry on, otherwise it won't get carry on. So what we are going to do in this, so I'll be mentioning over here that options is there, then I have the number of choice creator. So now I'll show you while IP equals to, not exactly the IP, but wait, I'll create another variable inside of it. Okay, I'm saying as equals to input control paste to control V, and I'll be asking the user that do you want to continue. Okay, and if I say that if my unless until my ask is equal to yes. Okay, so I'll just make it as a double quotes. Oops. Right, and otherwise I will be doing something like, rather than creating this, I'll just say while true. Okay, and there is no need for this thing. I'll come over here and I will keep iterating these stuff. Okay, keep prettifying, because the result is that we know that these programs, this Python programming language itself is a working stage or not. So it's one kind of iterator, so it will execute one by one and it works on the indentation concept. So I'll just rectify the indentation. paste it over here. Okay, now once it is coming out of this condition, when this particular part is executed, okay, I'll come over here and I will say that print yes for second round. Okay, right? And in this, now I'll be saying that if wait, I'll start accepting the input from the user. So I'll say ask equals to the input from the user, and I save it. If my stuff, that is on an average, I will be saying that if my ask equals to yes, okay, then I will be saying that yes, and I will be saying something like return true, right? But in this case, if the user enters something else, okay, which user does not want, so I will just say return false, and I will execute this. Syntax error, I'm so sorry, that's my work. Return outside the function. Okay. So let's create the else part. Let us see whether this works or not. Syntax. If we are asking the user to say this thing, so if I say that if ask equals to yes, then we'll be mentioning over here something called as break, right? I'll come out of it. Else it will be keep running it, it's okay. If I say rock, and if I say the user, he or she is ready for that or not, and still the cycle continues. But some or the other way, there is an error in this particular area. So let us just rectify this error. Just a second. So I will see while true. Okay, while it's a true star, then import, I will say that so this I will say from random import and int. Okay, so when I say this thing, what will happen in this, it will not import any random number which is gonna be, you know, something like a float or a decimal value. So we'll just import a random number which is going to be the integer, right? So I'll say over here that from import from random import radiant, okay, print basically I am saying that user to give me rock, paper or scissor or something like that, and I say that if my choice, okay, the user choice is gonna be true. So what I'm going to do, I'll just take this part, and because I want this to be happening every time the user enters the stuff, right? So if I say that while true, okay, then I will be mentioning in this that my options will be inside. Like, let me be the options outside only. So my options are going to be over here, right? And my number is going to be my, now there is a change in this. So now I'll be saying that rand end will be the one which will be determining stuff. So I will say 0, 2. Now why I'm saying 0, 2, the reason is that because my index number for the options, that is 0, 1 and 2, because index number, as you know, it starts from zeros and and it ends at n minus 1 value. So I will say rand end 0, 2. So if my computer choice, now if what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to start with the computer choice selection. Okay, so if I will say that my computer choice is equal to, okay, now when I take this index number in this, so what I am going to do is, I will just say that my option, okay, is going to be my number. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just taking the values from using the index number, right? So now when I'm saying that this particular stuff should be printed, right? And if my user choice is this, it's a tie and all these statements, right? I'll come over here at the part, this particular part, and there are some people who try to act more smart, so for them I'll just give a condition that else print that please enter some valid input. Okay, so now we are saying the user to enter some valid input so that we can easily accept. For example, now if I say rock, paper, scissors, there might be some people who try to trick your program or something like that. For them, we are making this facility. Now after this, as soon as this thing happens, so we are saying that ask equals to input, then we are asking the user that you go for the like one more round, right? And in this, if the user say that, if the user enter that ask equals to yes, okay, or ask equals to yes, okay, then I will say break, right? And I will come over here and I will say print thank you for playing. Okay, so this might work. Let us execute and see, because we're taking something new. So I will say we have rock. Oh, by mistake, press something else. 5. Wait, it says that okay, my mistake. So it is gonna be options, not option, right? And it will ask me to enter rock. So now what is happening exactly over here? The scenario is that again we are facing the same thing, right? It is not asking us whether we want to go there or not. So what we are going to do is that ask input, like come over here, right? And I'll be saying that I have my if, else if part, else answer input. Wait, first of all, this is the wrong way, right? Let's see whether this works or not. I would say rock. It says me, are you interested for the second round? So if I say yes, okay, wait, if I say yes, then it should not be, wait, it should not break. So I'll just change the condition. So I'll say no. I'll say no. I'll make this as no. I will execute the program. Right? If I say rock, it's asking me no for one more round. Okay. So if I say now yes, okay, it again asks me for the condition. So if I say now scissors, my cycle keeps continuing. If I say no, it comes out of the loop and it says me that thank you for playing the game. So in this today's session, we have understood that how we can create a loop, how we can use a loop in such a way that this particular loop can help us to create a non-stopping game unless and until the user wants, right? Along with that, we have also learned one more thing, that how you can use the prime numbers, what are the operators you are going to use. For example, as you can see in this case, we have over here and we have over here or. Okay, so these are the operators which we are using to accept the like logical operators. So these will be determining the conditions. So exactly what is the AND operator? For example, as I explained in the previous class as well, that AND operator is something which help us to determine whether both the conditions are true or not. If either of the condition is false, it will not execute the program. Second is the OR operator, which is an optional operator as well, which says that if either of one condition is true, then it is ready to execute, or else it will not execute. Okay, so it requires just one condition as true or false. Okay, so now this was what we have studied till now, that is we have studied how to use operator, how to use to determine in data types, how to use the data types as per the determine the conditions as well, so how you can use if conditions and all. In this today's class, we have also learned that how you can create a rock paper scissor game. So this was all about today's session. In the next session, when we will be meeting, okay, we will study more in detail about how you can create multiple applications and projects related to the same stuff, right? So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, don't forget to like this video and share the entire playlist session to your friends and family to make them learn the live practical way how to create and use Python programs. So meet you soon in the next part, that's next week. Okay, so stay tuned to the channel so you can understand and learn more stuff in detail. Bye.
Queries and inquiries